continuing on to slide number 7, you had to plot 4 lines where each line should pass through the point on the y-axis. So each line should pass through this point that I'm pointing at right now, 0, -2. And the first one has been done for you. So if you look at the line that's been done for you, they wrote the equation as y equals to -2 plus 1/2 x. So the -2 is your y-intercept and the slope is 1/2. Now, usually when we write the equation in slope-intercept form, we write the slope first, then the y-intercept. But equations can be written in any way. So it's important to recognize which is your slope, which is your y-intercept. So we're going to go ahead and write the equation where each one is actually going to pass through -2. So my next line is going to be y equals -2. And then I want it to pass through, let's say, the order in which you do this doesn't matter, but I want to pass through this point here. So I'm going to go down 2, right 1. So that means that slope is -2x. And you could check to see which one you have done. So you want every line to go through the y-intercept and through each point. So we did so far 1. Let's go ahead and look at the one on the top there. Well, we want the graph to go through that point and the y-intercept. So you just need to actually count the slope, as I mentioned in the last video, between any 2 points. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 right. So that's a slope of -5 over 4. So I'm going to write that it goes through the y-intercept of -2. So y equals -2, and we went down 5, so -5 and right 4 over 4, and then don't forget the x. We put the x, and we could check that one as well. So it has gone through that point. And the last one that we need to do is the one below. So let's go ahead, and we want it to go through the -2. So let's count the slope from here. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, down 3, and we're going to go left 1, 2, 3. So actually going down 3 and left 3, that is a positive slope. And you could see the line going through these two will be positive. So I could have also went up 3, 1, 2, 3, and right 3. So the slope is actually 1 because 3 over 3 is 1. So I'm just going to erase this, and we are going to draw a y-intercept of -2 with a slope of 1. So let's go ahead and write that in here. So y equals -2 and plus x would give us a slope of 1. So let's check our work and make sure all the lines pass through every point and the y intercept, which it does. All right, let's see what's next. What is the equation of the line shown here? All right, so the first thing you want to identify is your y-intercept. And again, the y-intercept here is 0, -2. And then our slope is up 1, right 3. So which one here do you think represents a y-intercept of -2 and a slope of +1/3? So if you said this, you are correct. This has a y-intercept of -2 and a slope of 1/3. And you can go ahead and explain that. You can say that the equation has a y-intercept of -3 and a slope of 1/3. Okay, moving along to the next slide. All right, so this one is a little bit more challenging. This is in point slope form, and it is saying to adjust the equation so the line passes through the points. And it's also telling us that, hint, you should only adjust the slope. So in other words, Where is the slope? If you said right here 3/2, then you are correct. That is the only number they're asking you to change. Everything else, leave it as is for now. So how should we change this number? Let me erase that. So that the graph will go through these 2 points. Now you can see that for me to go through these 2 points, that looks like it's going to be a negative slope. I can draw the slope and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's down 4 and right 5. So it needs to be -4/5. So let's see what happens if we write -4/5. And the graph will pass through the 2 points. All right, so we are going to use the same idea. What you want to do here is look for a pattern. So you could see the first one has been done for you. The slope is -2/10. So if you look at the 2 points, and if I go down 2 and right 10, that represents this graph. So that makes sense. Can you try to figure out how they got x -6 + 1? How did they get that? So one way I looked at it is this point. How did this point right here, which I'm going to circle, how did this point move from the origin? So if you count, it moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1. Well, that's not a coincidence. There is some type of pattern, which we're going to learn later on how to shift graphs. So it has to do with a horizontal shift and an upward shift. So anything to do with X is a horizontal shift, and anything to do with Y is a vertical shift. So this is actually means that if the graph shifted right 6. So if I can write that. All right, doesn't let me write right 6, but this right here means it shifted right 6 and up 1. So using that idea, can we somehow create an equation that we will figure out the slope between 2 points and then draw the lines so that one of the points shifts from the origin? Okay, so for example, let's try to do this one. This point right here shifted from 0, 1 right, and 4 down. So I'm going to try to write an equation where it shifts y equals, we'll worry about the slope later, but it shifts 1 to the right, so x -1, and then it goes down 4. Okay, but right now this slope is 1. So how can I check that this point right here has a slope of, let's say, from these 2 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well, it's a slope of 1. So actually this should work. Let's check it. And that worked. All right, we're going to use the same idea with this point here on the left. How did that move from the origin, 0, 0? So it moved to the right, 1, 2, it moved to the left, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to write, now here's the thing. When something moves to the left, I know we haven't learned this yet, it's going to go left 3. So what I want you to look for now is patterns. So x + 3, move to the left. So think about anything in parentheses is opposite. So move 3 to the left, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So I'm going to say -5, and I'm going to change this to an equals. Now let's count the slope of this from, let's say, this point. Let's see what we did. This graph, we want to do this graph. So that is a slope of up 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1/4. Let's see how that works. Okay, that's working nicely. All right, if you want to stop the video here and see if you can figure out how you can make these 2 points cross, let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to check this point here, and I'm going to count how it moved from 0. It moved 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left and up 3. So I'm going to write y equals x plus 4, and then up 3. And then let's figure out that slope. That slope looks like it's downward if I want the line to cross between these 2 points. I'm going to go from here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 1. So -8. Let's see how that works. And that worked very nicely. So if you want to look at these equations again and look for the pattern I was talking about, then go ahead and do so. And I think I'll pause the video here, or I'll stop it and continue with the next slides with a new video.